We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show.
We answer that and more. Steven Jill here.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about the real definition of deal flow. This phrase, you know, there's like, do you ever notice there's like in our little land investment world, there's catchphrases that go on and off, and there's some of them
too many sometimes. There's a lot,
and then some of them are misunderstood, and some of them have multiple definitions, and it's like, no, yeah, that's not good. Like one of them right now is homestead. And we did a show, whatever, about a month ago. It's like, look, this is what homestead really means, because it's just not getting used correctly.
I got one. When you're ready.
I have, well, deal flow is the one today, but yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Wholesale.
Yeah, wholesale is not.
Yeah.
It's not used right.
Correct. Exactly. It drives me nuts.
Here's another one. Passive income.
Yep.
That's a crack up for me.
This is funny.
Jill got interviewed by Mark
good.
Podolsky, actually.
I did. 2
or 3 days ago. I don't know when it's going to air.
Yeah.
He's a scheduling freak. You know, Mark and I used to work together. He's a scheduling freak like I am, so he's probably got 5 years of interviews lined up and recorded so he can just air. But they use passive income a lot in that. I noticed. Have you noticed that?
Exactly.
And
every one of us that has quote unquote created passive income in our world, there's nothing passive about it.
Jill and I are lucky enough to have several rental properties in Arizona. And it's as passive as it gets. They're condos for the most part, not all of them. The renters are like family friends and
super
over
easy.
Years,
they solve their own problems.
Like when they call, they laugh and stuff. Nobody ever calls and says the toilet doesn't work.
Right.
And I don't think that's passive. I still think there's stuff that goes on there.
Oh, stuff goes on, but we just don't hear about it.
So
it's good.
Is it passive really?
Oh, we're lucky.
No, I don't. I'd like to. I mean, is buying stock passive? I don't think so, because you look at it.
That's true.
So anyway, I don't know how we got off on that. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Matt W. wrote, "Hello all. I closed on 18 properties from one seller on Friday, October 30th for $60,000. They're mostly 1 to 4 acre lots. Several are landlocked. Most are in the floodplains, but there are a few nice infill lots. I sent out 54 neighbor letters, and by last Friday, November 6th, 1 week after closing, I sold 6 of those lots for $60,000. So while the remaining 12 will take a little bit longer to sell, I have my money back and I can relax a bit. How cool is that?"
Mic drop.
And then he wrote on to say one more thing. "I also had an offer on a 15-acre lot I purchased for $22,500 at the end of July for $62,500. All in all, not a bad week. Holy cow. I love that.
I mean, he made...
That's perfect.
He generated $120,000 in revenue on $60,000, and he's got how many lots left? 12 properties left. So if those 12 properties sell for half of what the other properties did, he's got $70,000. He created $70,000 plus $40,000. He created about $110,000, $120,000 of equity.
That's why you do it.
Since July.
Love it.
Not necessarily, and most of it's cash. You know, some of it's property, which is like, all of you know that if you've been buying and selling property, you're in this constant state of, I have a bunch of cash, I have a bunch of property, I have no cash, I have too much property. And it constantly goes like this. And it's a glaring example. This is a very real world deal. A property comes in, they have 18 units. Jill would go in and just pound them on the price probably, because some of it's in a floodplain. You sell the good ones first and you eke the other ones out. Very, very real world. Congratulations, Matt W.
Yay.
I am very, very happy that Land Academy has worked out for you.
Exactly.
That's why we do this.
I love it. It's just sometimes getting those comments in there, it just inspires everybody.
Yep.
Makes me want to up my game.
Yeah. Today's topic, the real definition of deal flow. This is why you're listening. What is deal flow? When you hear deal flow, no wrong answer.
Okay.
What does it mean to you?
Having enough deal flow are inbound deals for me to choose from as acquisitions.
I'm going to ask you some questions and you can bark back at me, okay? Is perusing the MLS deal flow?
No.
Not at all.
That's searching.
That's right.
Searching. That's painful.
Mm-hmm. Is looking through back tax lists for tax liens and tax deeds deal flow?
No.
Not at all. Is taking a call from your broker once a week about some secret property that he just found out about deal flow?
Not really. Maybe. It's inbound, so I'm going to say yes.
So I believe the vast majority of people out there who've already been in the real estate business in some capacity believe that that weekly call from their broker
it doesn't count for the whole thing.
is deal flow. Yeah, that is their entire deal flow.
Oh,
it's
no.
either that or the vast. You talked about the 1% a couple days ago.
Right.
I think 95% of the real estate, all the people I know that are in real estate, and there's a lot of them in commercial and house flipping and all of them who are successful. This is what they get to have 4 or 5 brokers they work with who call them and say some version of, hey, I just got out of a listing meeting. I'm going to list this property for $180,000. I can sell it to you right now. Then you're going to save me the trouble of getting the listing. And every one of them say, yep. Awesome. You're the greatest broker in the world. Thanks for creating my fill in the blank deal flow.
Right. That's not the exact what you want.
That is.
Because it's hit and miss. It needs to be consistent.
That's the biggest Band-Aid and maybe one of the biggest mistakes that you can possibly make in real estate.
What you want to be is on the other side of that. You're the person providing it to the broker. That's really how it goes in our world. I'm the one that my broker's like, right now I have a guy, I have a couple guys I work with exclusively with real unique property types. And I know they have buyers lined up. So they get excited when they talk to me. They're like, oh, how fast can you close? Because I got 3 people that want to look at it. So you want to be on that side of it, not the receiving side of it.
That's right. So the only real way to establish real deal flow, first of all, that broker thing's not consistent. That broker could take 6 months off because he made so much money selling property to you that your deal flow is gone. You want to accomplish reach. In internet social media advertising has long known this. There's impressions, there's clicks, and there's success, click-through rate. And so it's the same thing with what we do. There's impressions. You send out 10,000 letters. There's clicks, which are people that respond to the letters. And then there's, you actually success. You sold a property or bought a property or whatever it works. So it's all based on that reach or impressions. And the only legal way and real efficient way that I know of is to do this through direct mail. Can you text people now these days? Sure. Can you robo-call people? Sure. Neither one of those are legal or ethical in my opinion.
I was going to ask that because we were talking to someone the other day about that. And they do robocall. They have an auto dialer, right? And they go through these calls. I'm like, well, number one, I'm so curious. I should have asked what the percentages are of that. I can't even imagine how many calls they have to go through.
It's not 1%.
Just to get first you got to get a live body on the other end of the phone. And then you have to, dig through to see do they want to sell. Okay, that's hurdle number 2. And then number 3, are they even on the same page with you price-wise, which I just have a hard time with that whole concept, because the bottom line is the end goal with deal flow is you want to be, like you said, reaching. I want to be spending only my time with the serious sellers and buyers. It goes both ways, by the way. I don't want to have 8 million tire kickers that I talk to, where I can say, great, I talked to 8 million people today about this property. How is that a good thing? You want to talk to 3 and then it's sold.
And how is it objective? I mean, if I send out 1,000 offers and 5 or 10 or 20, let's say 20 is a good number. 20 people contact Jill somehow. I've already done all the research and it's priced right, and I know the location works, and I did all of that long before I ever sat down and downloaded the data. So we're at a huge, massive, objective, winning position on the fact that we've established the price, not them. We've established that the location works for us from a resale standpoint, and that the property in general is a property that we want to buy. So we've already gone through all these decisions and all this data that tells us what to do. By the time it gets to Jill, these 20 people contact Jill, whether they mail them back or email her or call her. We already know we're winning. And it's objective. So let's say in a perfect world, we have 20 signed purchase agreements for the price that I determined was good in the mailer. She's going to look at all of those, and she's going to pick 3 or 4 or 5 of them very objectively. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have some broker in her ear saying, hey, man, listen, I just, this is the one deal I got it. I got a 5-hour window here. Nobody wants to do a real estate deal like that, yet they all do. And they all make mistakes because of that. Mm-hmm. And so we are constantly putting ourselves in a winning position with our deal flow. And this is in the first chapter of the first Land Academy module in the first program. It's called Reach. I know that if I send out 10,000 letters a month, Jill's going to buy about 10 to 20 properties. If I send out 5,000, it's going to be half of that. If something goes wrong, desperately wrong, and that has happened because I mistook the data or didn't do something right or it was priced wrong. It's happened this year, actually. She buys 2 or 3 properties instead of 8 or 10. So if anybody out there's got a better idea about deal flow, please email me directly. I'd love to hear about a better way to deal flow. Not cheaper. And this is what we did, what we talked about in the interview. This is what stops the vast majority of people ever getting into this business. It costs 55 cents to send a piece of mail out with us, which is about the price of a stamp, but in a very automated fashion. And about 10 cents for the data. So in the bidder end, it's about 60 cents to get an offer in front of somebody. And to send out 1,000 offers, it costs between $500 and $600, depending on how you do it. And I think that stops 95% of the people from ever moving past that. Whenever you have upfront money, everybody backs up.
How do you start a business without upfront money?
The good news is...
I have a lot of questions.
The good news is if you're listening to this...
I'm opening a restaurant, but no upfront money. What the heck?
If you're listening to this, or I don't care if you're seasoned or you're just brand spanking new, you get it already.
Yeah.
You got to spend a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of risk. What risk is in this? I don't know, but I don't see any risk in it.
Right. That's so funny.
Deal flow is imperative to any business. I don't care if you're Target or some convenience store owner, you got to get people to walk through your door somehow. And you usually do it through advertising or some, lost leader type product where it's cheap or you sell it at a loss so people buy other stuff. That's all deal flow. Every single business needs it. And we have, I'm happy to report, made it the more efficient than we have a member in the advanced group. Every time I talk to him, he has other companies. He said, I've never seen more efficient advertising and deal flow in any business that we have.
Exactly.
On the other businesses, businesses we have to advertise on cable TV. And he said, it's like 50% of our revenue we spend on advertising. What do you think we spend in mail?
Isn't that amazing? It's shocking.
I bet we spend 2%.
When you think about the return
yeah.
that we get from our mail to the deals in our business. It really is. I can't think of anything better.
Direct mail equals deal flow.
It does.
That's what I should have called this.
Oh, that's okay. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called Chasing False Due Diligence. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. So tell me that story that you told me when we were writing these titles earlier today.
So I have someone who's brand new to Land Academy, and they submitted a deal. It really is their first deal to deal funding. And I looked at it and I said, no, price way too high. And they've come back at least twice, maybe 3 times, saying, but what about this? What about that? What about this? And I keep saying no. It's the whole point is stop it. You know, whatever price they had, it was like in the 30,000. I said, you know what? I'd give them 5 maybe. If I liked it, I'd give them 5, but I don't like it, so no. And then they came back and they said, what about this comp? What about that comp? And they're chasing this, and I don't know why. I said, look, I was about to say, all right, maybe I'd consider 10 based on maybe some new information that you found, but they've talked to the seller and the seller won't go below 20. I'm like, okay, then that's it. Case closed. So, and I had to say, and I just keep saying, open the next letter. So, and I think it's just they're brand new, and it's really is the first person that said, sure, I want to sell. So they want to make it happen. And you have to walk away, because if you don't, then you're just going to make a mistake. And luckily they have me. They're running it by me personally, Jill, just so you know. It is me looking at that deal. And I'm telling you, stop it.
I have so many questions, but
open the next envelope.
I'm going to save them for the next.
And we'll talk about it tomorrow.
I have like 10 questions for you.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we do appreciate your support. So if you would, and you want to watch us too, because it's kind of fun. You can see the nuttiness going on behind us in the background on the beach.
Fun and funny.
Get over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the type of content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.
We are Steven Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.